Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. In this series I am taking some of the concepts from my book The Journey Back to You, and I am just delving a little bit deeper into some of the topics from the book. So today we're looking at a subject that I discovered many years ago whenever I was studying psychology, and it is probably one of the things that has helped me most in terms of getting to know myself, understanding myself, but also understanding how I am with other people, how I have been as a wife, how I've been as a parent, and just even as a friend. So the subject that we're looking at today is temperament, and it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about because it is so important. So on this video I'm going to look a little bit into temperament. We're going to look at the 9 temperament traits, and I'm going to give you a few examples from my own life. And then at the end of the video I will give you a link to where you can download a questionnaire so that you can find your own temperament traits. So this is very exciting. So let's get started. So Alexander Thomas and Stella Chess have been two of the main contributors to the study of temperament. So they have been doing scientific studies since the 1950s, and particularly twin studies. And their studies have shown that children's behaviour is influenced by temperament. Temperament describes our biologically based individual differences that are evident early in life and remain characteristic right throughout our lifetime. So I want to go through the 9 temperament traits, and if you can just think back to how you were as a child and try and relate to each of these traits. Think back to your childhood and ask yourself, how active were you? Did you always need to move around? Were you always jumping and bouncing? Did you need to move in order to feel good? Or did you get bored very easily unless that your energy was channeled into an activity that you enjoy? Or were you content with less physical activities, preferring to engage in things like creative pursuits or puzzles or mental activities? So I grew up with 5 other siblings. There were 4 girls and 2 boys, and when I look at each of us, you know, there are similarities between us, but there are definitely differences between us. So whenever I was a child, I was extremely active. Thankfully, we had lots of space to run around. I was constantly outside, constantly running around. I hated being in the house. I hated having to sit for long periods of time. So I was always on the move. Whereas when I think back to my older sister, Helen, she was definitely much quieter than me. She read books a lot. She was a very good artist, so she used to be drawing all the time. So she was definitely much less active than I would have been. Were you open and curious, enjoying new experiences and easily making friends, say at school? Or did you need time to warm up, often feeling distressed by unfamiliar situations? How well did you adapt to changes in your routines? Could you shift easily from one activity to the next without making a fuss? Or did you struggle with change and protest about small changes or disruptions to predictable patterns? How sensitive were you to your surroundings? Were you highly aware of sensory details, reacting strongly to sounds, sights, and textures? Or were you oblivious to many sensory stimuli and rarely bothered by strong smells or odours or tastes? So as a child, I would have been really sensitive. I was very sensitive to my environment, to the beauty around me, listening to the birds, watching the sunset. All of that used to really fill me. When I think also about, you know, the feel of things, if my clothes were itchy, I just didn't want to wear them. If there was labels on my t-shirt or whatever, I wanted them cut off because they used to annoy me. And to this day, I still do that. If I buy something new, I cut off the labels straight away because I don't like the feel of them. So how did you handle distractions? Did you find it hard to concentrate when there were sights, sounds and activities around you? Or were you able to stay focused and complete tasks despite distractions? Think about your emotional reactions as a child. Did you express strong emotions, reacting loudly to situations? Or were your emotions more subdued, often keeping feelings to yourself? How persistent were you? So did you stick with tasks until they were completed, even in the face of obstacles? Or did you give up easily, preferring to move on to something else quickly? Reflect on your daily routines. So were your eating, sleeping and toileting patterns predictable and consistent? Or were your routines more unpredictable, eating and sleeping at odd hours? What was your general mood like? Were you generally cheerful, making friends easily, and looking for the good in people? Or did you tend to react more negatively, often serious and analytical about life? So understanding these temperament traits really helps with our understanding of ourselves and who we are. And it also helps us to appreciate our uniqueness. So what I love about the 9 temperament traits is that they are observable behaviours. So that makes it easy for us to be able to see ourselves in each of the categories. So I want to give you an opportunity to find your own temperament traits. If you look in the description below, I have got a link to a PDF so you can download that. So this questionnaire is looking at you as an adult now, so you can fill in each of the categories and really get a good overview of yourself now as an adult. So why not even print out a couple of copies, and then you can get a friend or a partner or somebody else who's important to you, fill theirs in. And you know, that's a great way to start a conversation and really get to know each other on a deeper level. So if you'd like more information around this, I cover it in more detail in my book, The Journey Back to You. So I've put a link in the description below where you can purchase the book. The more that you understand about yourself, the better relationships you're going to have, the better decisions you're going to be able to make, and the more fulfilling a life that you're going to have. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.